Hotspur and St Helens are the women's Super League champions. The most amazing game for the Leeds Rhinos. Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. It's Vincent! It's a poor lad. That is one sensational try. 3 in a row for Saints. The three-peat is achieved. An 8th grand final win for the Red Bee.
Hello and welcome to the last tackle on the Sportsman. Delighted to welcome to the studio Kev Brown, and alongside Kev is this man, and he scored a try this week as well. Let's watch it now. Come on, talk us through this, Kyle.
Oh well, no. Look, to be back home and scoring in front of my own crowd, and obviously to help us go on the way to the quarterfinal, I was made up. But I've told everybody that it was a lot further than that out, so that's quite embarrassing for me.
He didn't score many.
He doesn't score many, and I've seen this try more than Ellery Hanley's greatest tries he scored this week. He told me it was 100 metres in the car journey down to Barrow, so I'm sick of seeing it. Can we put that to bed now?
Sure we can. Right, let's talk about the game. You came out 46-4 winners, but that does not tell the whole story. First of all, you're obviously a Whitehaven lad.
Yes.
And you went into that game pretty nervous, didn't you?
Yeah, no. I mean, look, I played in a lot of big games, but that was, it was really nerve-wracking, especially when I was waiting to go on as well, and just knowing that my family were in the crowd, all my mates. It's where I very first started my career, so I probably built it up a bit more in my own head than what it actually was. So, but look, to get out there and play in front of everyone, and look, I'm really proud of where I come from as well, and the people in the area. So it was a great day.
And it don't tell the whole story, because it was a spirited Whitehaven. I mean, it was 0-0 for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, I thought they were terrific. I thought the way they approached the game and the way they come after us, we knew we were in for a physical challenge, and I thought right from the off, they forced an error with 3 or 4 players climbing into one of our blocks. So, again, I just thought they were real terrific and spirited, and you can understand why Jonty Gawley's got a decent side up there in the Championship, and if they keep playing like that, then they'll certainly climb the ladder in that competition for sure.
I watched your post-match interview. You were going to ask the gaffer if you were allowed to go out after the game. Did he let you?
Yeah, no, he did. He let me stay up, and it was great again just to go out and see my mates and my family, and just have a nice meal and a couple of drinks with them. So it was brilliant.
But I guess he didn't let you go out after Toulouse.
No, he did not. No. Look, that was bitterly disappointing for us. I just thought we were way off all the little individual areas that we hang our hat on as a group and as a collective. We were miles off in that game, and credit Toulouse. I thought again they were fantastic. They rose to the occasion. It was a real sort of vibrant atmosphere there, and they played terrific. And sometimes you've got to say well done to them. But for us, we needed to have a long look in the mirror and make sure that we that doesn't happen again, because it was way below our standards.
So how tough was training after that Toulouse defeat then?
Oh, it was more just individually, just being accountable for what we do. I don't think the gaffer he didn't give us any old school flogging. I think those days are gone really. We all know as players that what a St Helens performance looks like, and that was way off the mark. So we just needed to have a couple of little meetings, discuss what went wrong, and just have the trust that we'll put it right. And I thought we did that at the weekend.
Because, Kev, people were sat in these seats so far this season saying, well, Saints are going to go all season unbeaten and Toulouse aren't going to win again.
Yeah, and
that's the beauty of sport, isn't it?
But it's actually made it more entertaining. We've seen a weakness in Saints that I didn't see there, and probably subconsciously they went into that game thinking they could win. And that's the great thing about our sport. If you're off a little bit, no matter how good you are, as St Helens have been, or how poor you have looked in Toulouse, if confidence is flipped round, then results can flip round too.
Let's just talk about a few other Betfred Challenge Cup games very quickly before we move on and have a look at the draw. 2-year-old clubs met on Friday night. Wigan 20, Salford 0.
Yeah, Wigan were just too good. We pre-matched and looked at Jay Field, but he was quite quiet. It was the pack that dominated, Salford's pack. I think that's one area that Salford, a bit under strength this year. Teams that when they have lost and lost convincingly, teams have gone after the middle. They've got some fantastic backs, but on that occasion, Friday, they couldn't cope with Wigan's pack.
And no problems for Hull. Beating Sheffield quite easy, 58-12.
Yeah, I thought the Championship sides in general stood up well, but on this occasion, I think Hull are flying high. I think they're one of the teams in form in the Super League, going under the radar a little bit. I'm looking forward to the game on Thursday actually with Wigan. So Hull were just too good for Sheffield that day, but yeah, they gave some troops back too.
And you've covered a couple of games for Featherstone on Premier Sports. Catalans 27, Featherstone 14. They were leading at half-time. They were 10-0 up, Featherstone.
They were, and then I think they scored 14-10, and it looked like they were giving one of the best team, if not the best team at the minute in the league, in the Super League, a real good run. Carl will argue with me on that one. But yeah, Featherstone are as good as anyone, and the imports that they're bringing in, they've got Corella in from Toulouse, and you know, the additions they make, it's frightening that he's an addition to an already really, really strong side.
And then Lee, well, they had a spirited comeback against Hull KR, but Hull KR won 24-18. And then, Saturday, Leeds 16, Castleford 14. Your next opponents, I'll come to you in a moment. What is going on at Leeds? Just one win in 7.
And it's the manner of the defeats as well. Losing at home by 40, probably, well, it tells an awful picture, but I think it was 24 or 28-0 at half-time, and it looked like it could really get ugly, and you know, a lot of the Leeds fans left, and they did show, fair play to them, they showed a bit of character at the start of the second half. Greg Eden's tried a bit of pay to that and shut the game down, but yeah, they've got big problems at Leeds. Obviously Jamie Jones is in charge, and it's probably a little bit too soon to judge Jonesy on a week. I think there's a big job on whoever comes in, whether it's Jonesy or someone outside, a big job on there. 5 unanswered tries in that first half. Yeah, and like I say, look, Castleford were really good, but when you go to Leeds, if you do win, you expect a tough game, and in that first half it wasn't tough. I thought Kenny Edwards and Greg Eden in particular terrorised Leeds on Leeds' right-hand side of the field, and yeah, they don't look like they've got any continuity with each other. They don't look like they like each other. It's a really... I saw Brad Dwyer come off at, when he got sin-binned, and normally there's a little bit of chit-chat between teammates. You know, even if you have done the wrong thing, a bit of backslapping, there were none of that. So it looks, you know, a place what confidence is definitely missing, but the togetherness for me is a real big thing. I look at St Helens, they're together in everything they do. I look at Wigan, they're together in everything, and at Leeds, I'm not sure they are. But most of your career, Carl, you've been up against a really strong Leeds, haven't you? You know, the golden generation as well.
Yeah, without doubt. Look, and you know, I was one of those players, probably like most of us within the game, who at the start of the year looked at that roster of Leeds Rhinos and thought, well, these guys could be, you know, serious and right up there. And
we all got excited as well, didn't we? About Caesar and Austin.
Yeah, without doubt. You know, those two coming back together and forming that old partnership that they had in Canberra was something that really excited, you know, Leeds Rhinos fans in particular. But I think everybody who's fans of the game, you know, wanted to see how that combination would pan out. But what I will say is that those players, individually, you know, those players are still very, very good players and fantastic players, and if they get it right somehow, that you know, I've no doubt that they can go on and flip their season completely around, and that's what we're preparing for this weekend. We're preparing for a Leeds Rhinos side that's going to come out in a Saints and Leeds game. You know, you never need really any motivation or desire to get up for that. So that's what we're preparing for. We're preparing for Leeds Rhinos to be that roster, that all those players playing at their absolute best against us to try and get their season going again. And for us, you know, we're just trying to sort of keep improving each and every week and get back to where we were a couple of weeks ago.
Very diplomatic ahead of your trip to Leeds on Friday. Right, let's talk Warrington, one of your old clubs. Daryl Powell has said teams don't fear us. No one is playing consistently well. I don't think any point from round one we've handled being put under pressure. Quite scathing words about his team from Daryl Powell this week. Yeah, but needed. And I think the truth. I think that's one thing Daryl Powell's probably brought in there is a bit of accountability. And you know, there's two real contrasting styles, what Daryl is to Steve Price, and how Warrington have played probably for a decade off the cuff. And you know, Daryl Powell's very structured. It's a great way of playing when everyone's on the same page. I think they lack a bit of penetration in the middle. I don't think they have got the go forward that they need to challenge. You know, and I think most teams are exploiting that at the minute. Wakefield have found a way to win. It was no fluke. Won the last two, haven't they?
Yeah, it was no fluke in the league. They've gone there and knocked them out of the cup. So I know personally we lost in finals and we got some grief. So not making the quarterfinals will be a serious dressing down at that club. And let's just finish on Barrow Huddersfield. I tell you what, Huddersfield are nicely getting on with things now, aren't they? In the Super League, 1-4, just lost 2. Ian Watson doing a good job. But
Barrow played very, very well. Whitehaven was spirited.
Yeah.
You're a Cumbrian lad. Look, Cumbrian Rugby League has done itself plenty of favours this weekend.
I think it always does. I think whenever it gets put on TV screens, it always shows that the people up there are so passionate about the game. And, you know, we were just speaking off air earlier, and I thoroughly do believe that if time, resources, effort and money had all gone into that area, you know, I've no doubt there'd be more Super League players from Cumbria playing the game than perhaps that we've, you know, the game's tried, and it's tried in Wales and Toronto and London to an extent, and I just believe that there's a sleeping giant up there that's it just needs unearthed. And look, I know there's lots of logistics around doing that, and that's for probably, you know, people far more intelligent than me to have those conversations, but there's something definitely up there. But, you know, I thought Barrow showed true Cumbrian spirit, as did Whitehaven in their losses at the weekend.
Just look at the atmosphere as well.
Yeah, it was brilliant, you know, to see that many people turning out. And for me, I remember when I was a young lad when Warrington came and played up there, and you know, those are memories that live with you for a long time and inspire young kids to go out and go and join a local rugby team or just start playing the game in general. So you know, brilliant.
Well, let's talk about the quarter-final draw. Well, you've got a tough one. Away at Catalans.
Yeah. It's probably the pick of the ties, isn't it? You know, if we're honest, a repeat of last year's grand final over in Catalan in their backyard. It's a real job on for us men to go there. You know, Kev alluded them there before as one of the best team at the moment in Super League. So, you know, we've got an almighty job on our hands there for sure.
And then you've got Wakefield versus Wigan, Hull KR versus Castleford, Huddersfield versus Hull. Well, obviously the standout tie has got to be Catalan Dragons versus St Helens, but they're all on TV, which is cracking, Kev, because I know you do a lot of work with Premier Sports. So Wakefield Wigan's on BBC Two on Sunday, Hull KR versus Castleford is on Premier Sports on the Friday, Huddersfield versus Hull is on Premier Sports on the Saturday, and Catalan Dragons versus St Helens on BBC One on Saturday.
Yeah, so, well, I think the other three games with the 6 teams involved will be just rubbing their hands together, enjoying the fact that Saints have to go to Catalans and knock lumps out of each other. And whoever does progress to that next stage will have a real big chance again to the final. I think everyone can beat everyone in all 4 of them ties. There's no outstanding favourite, even in the tie around Catalans and Saints. You know, Catalans are probably the closest when both teams go full bore and play well that they can challenge Saints. So interesting rounds, and whoever gets through, it's going to be a great next round of the competition.
And it's obviously, we all love Wembley, but this year we're going to Spurs. I'm really looking forward to going to the stadium.
I think everyone is. I think, you know, the chance to go there as a player is something that no one's experienced before. The chance to go there as a fan. For me, I've never been there. I've seen it on TV, so I want to go down there and watch it, take my son up there. So I think we will get a lot of that this year. I know Wembley's our home, and I love playing at Wembley, and I love going to Wembley. But for a 1 or a 2 occasion, I think Tottenham Hotspur, you know, you couldn't ask for a better second place to go.
Yeah, look, it's an incredible stadium, and just to echo what Kev said there, that as a player you want to play in the biggest games in the biggest arenas, and this arena itself is somewhere that Rugby League's never been before, so it's a chance at history as well. And if it's only there once, then, you know, certainly from a Saints player and a Saints point of view, we want to make sure that our name's on that trophy in that game that may never go back to that stadium ever again. So you know, we want to keep on making history, however big, however small. So yeah, look, I think it's great that it's going to go to an amazing venue like Tottenham.
Right, well, the best of luck. Well, we brought Whitehaven versus St Helens on this channel. We're the home of Rugby League Online.
Don't miss a thing from the new home of Rugby League Online.
Follow the Sportsman on social media
and follow their YouTube channel for exclusive content.
Right, so we brought you Whitehaven versus St Helens and a rare Carl Amor try last week. I can now reveal our next game. It's 3 o'clock on Sunday, and it's a rematch of one of the season's most dramatic games from League One.
Desperate the defence is back. 10 seconds to go. This is it. This is the last play.
6 again. There's no
point. This is it. This is the last play of the match. All the way back they come. looking to free up the big man. Does he know? Has he heard the hooter? Sweeting. Cocaine.
Oh, they've got them! They've got them! They've got them! They've got them!
Unbelievable!
Oh my word!
All the way through to level the scores. What drama! It's Johnson again on the far touchline to send Doncaster to the League One playoff final.
He got it!
Oh, he kicked it! It's an extraordinary finish. It's a brilliant touchline kick, and Doncaster, having been behind all match, have stolen it after the hooter.
Well, that was the playoffs last year, but we are bringing you Keighley versus Doncaster live on Sunday at 3 o'clock, live on the Sportsman, the Keighley Cougars versus Doncaster. So there we are. Coverage will start at 2:45. So we're bringing you some Challenge Cup games. We're going to bring you some Women's Challenge Cup games as well. This week we're bringing you a League One game on the Sportsman. And you've done some of the co-coms on the Sportsman for us so far, Carl. Look, I'm obviously biased because I'm presenting this show on the Sportsman, but I just think it's great that we're getting all these extra rugby league games this year.
Yeah, without doubt, more eyes on the competition, and everybody. In the past, it's only just been the very elite competition that's been able to be broadcasted, and I just think it's great that we're tapping into so many different towns and teams around the area, and getting more eyes on the game than ever before. So with platforms like the Sportsman and the various other ones that are showing it, I just feel that added all that together, plus with the Rugby League World Cup at the end of the year, my word, it's a super exciting time to be involved in the game.
You're enjoying your Monday nights, aren't you, on Premier Sports?
Absolutely love it, and I've said before, the quality that's in the Championship is great, and some of the games they've shown this weekend in the Challenge Cup how good they are. But I agree with what Carl's saying, the buzz around the place about rugby league. Everyone in Wigan and St Helens are walking around with rugby balls again. They've put the footballs away in the garage.
I saw you mention it on Twitter last night. You went to the park, didn't you, with the kids?
I went to the park with my son and just took him over kicking the ball, and there was probably 20 or 30 other people doing the same. It was a nice night. Normally there's a big game of football or they're ripping fences down, and it was great to see everyone with a rugby ball, and we had a big game at the end, and it was brilliant, and I think that's off the back of the Betfred and Premier Sports and other broadcasters doing great things for the game.
Without doubt, and I just think that going forward, however the Rugby League World Cup comes about and everything that's been done behind the scenes through all these different platforms, well, that's the legacy, isn't it? The legacy is to have an impact on local communities, kids, and the next generation of the game, to take it to a place where it arguably hasn't been for a long time, and that's more numbers in the game, watching the game and getting involved, however that looks.
Well, it's less than 200 days now to the start of the World Cup, but let's turn our attention back to the Betfred Super League, and our friends at the Betfred Super League have been to the south of France to meet the man at the helm of the newest club.
Well, I come from a sort of farming family, from through generation, from both of my parents, so my mum and dad got a farm from 7 kilometers from me, his dairy farm, and we bought that farm about 12 years ago with my brother, which is a sheep farm now, so we needed to learn the job because we grew with cows, and now we're doing sheep. Again, the area is really made more for sheep. Dairy has been declined over the years over here, and over here there's a strong company for cheese, which is Roquefort. It's a very famous cheese, and it's a different life obviously than rugby, but it's one that balances me, and I like it when I come back from Toulouse, and I've got a few hours I can help my brother on the farm, and it take my mind off the footy a little bit.
So that's tonight on the Betfred Super League YouTube channel from 7 o'clock. So Toulouse are away at Castleford on Friday. I hate reminding you about this, but Toulouse can go into that game with a lot more confidence. They've got that monkey off the back.
Yeah, without doubt. That's been and gone now, so I'm okay talking about it. It's fine. It's it's professional sport. It's what we do, and sometimes you don't always get it right. And on that day, Toulouse were terrific. Like I mentioned earlier, they thought they played some outstanding stuff. They've got a real big pack that can promote the ball and create that second phase rugby, and you know that's something that troubled us on the night. So you know, hopefully they'll go to Castleford, and replicate that. And again, you know, their tyres are well and truly pumped up heading into that, and why wouldn't they be? You know, they've just beat the champions in their own backyard, and there's a real good feel factor around the place. I spoke to a couple of their players after the game, former teammates of mine, Don Peru and Joseph Paulo, and they just spoke about how much that they prepared for that game and targeted that game leading into it, and to get the result, well, my word, that's going to be, you know, do an awful lot for their confidence going forward.
And it's great for Super League because last year it just took Leeds too long to get going, didn't it?
Yeah, and Toulouse have got better every week. They pushed Wigan really close. Yeah. They were really unlucky not to. And just imagine if they had won that as well, how much Leeds, the pressure that's already on Leeds, if Toulouse can start picking up a few games, it's unthinkable to think Leeds could be thinking about relegation at this stage.
Is that how bad it is at Leeds, do you think, really?
Well, it's reality. It's reality. All the players will be thinking, you know, the confidence is shot. Are they together as a group? Who's going to come in as a coach? When will he come in?
Well, it's one in 6 in Super League, 1 in 7 if you include the Betfred Challenge Cup.
And that's it. I was at the Salford game when Salford convincingly beat Leeds, so it's not like and they've not got a lot of injuries. When you look at the squad and the roster you mentioned, you think that where's this, you know, this barrage of people coming in? It's going to it's not going to happen. It's got to be from within. And you know, I think Austin and Caesar, if they can click, you know, then they've got a chance. I actually think they'll beat Saints this week.
But cheers to that. But just on that though, nobody in this competition is going to feel sorry for Leeds Rhinos. You know, just because you know the unthinkable of them being put in a relegation fight. You know, Salford have shown they're not going to feel sorry for them. We certainly ain't going to feel sorry for them this weekend. So
well, you don't rock up on Friday thinking, oh, Leeds have only won 1 in 7.
Exactly. Everybody's just got tunnel vision. Look, there's Leeds Rhinos there that's in front of us this week, and we're going to do everything we can to beat them. It's not down to the other teams playing against them to wonder how they're going to. You know, how they're going to react.
It's probably the first time Leeds have gone into being underdogs at home. I don't know in how long. They'll be under, and I think the pressure's on you men this week. So I think Leeds, you know, will be a lot better this weekend with the fact that the pressure isn't on them on that game.
But the pressure for us at our club's a gift. We're always under pressure. Every week we're under pressure, and that's the gift of being successful. You know, when you are the best side in the competition, you are under pressure all the time. So, you know, we rise to that all day long.
Right, let's talk about the Super League fixture. So we start on Thursday night, Wigan versus Hull. Bevan French is back in the squad for the first time since May 2021, which is great news to see Bevan French back.
It's unbelievable news, and it's an headache for Matty Peet, because I don't know what combination he can do with Jay Field. He's been the best player in the league so far.
But you like those headaches, don't you, as a coach?
Oh, definitely. Especially when you've got another headache of Tommy Luluai and Kai Pearce-Paul dropping out. It's great to have good players coming in, but the talk is on Bevan, and Hull FC have got Tuma Varvey back, they've got Luke Gale back, Manu Mao back, McIntosh back, so they're going to go there with a full squad of players winning the last 3 games. So that is, I think, is a tie of the round. I think 2 teams in form and are going to go at each other. It'd be great.
Has Matty Peet got the old sort of Wigan back, do you think?
Definitely. I think the way that they're playing,
club ethos,
the club ethos, they're together. They're still brutal in defence, but they've got a real nice brand of football that they're playing now. Last year they probably dipped into a little bit too much of being physical, and there wasn't much product at the end of it. This year I've loved everything about their attack. Their attack looks great, and they're showing different ways of winning the game. So I think he has.
And obviously, I know you'll only look ahead to the next game, rightly so, but it's not long to Good Friday, is it?
No, definitely not. You know, that's going to be right round the corner, isn't it? You know, we've got 2 huge games, obviously Leeds Rhinos and then Catalan in the Cup, and then we're straight into a Good Friday game. And you know, I agree with everything Kev's just said there. I think Wigan's attack this year has got them back to a place that where what looks like a Wigan team for me. And I know that, you know, Matty Peet's been doing an awful lot of stuff in and around the community of Wigan and really getting the club connected or reconnected with the town again, and you know, all that creates a real togetherness, a real confidence that everything you're doing is in unison. So you know, I think Wigan have been fantastic this year, and no doubt we'll get a cracker for Good Friday.
Yeah, Thursday night, Wigan versus Hull. That looks very good because Hull have definitely improved in the last 2-3 games, as Kev has said. Right, Friday night, Huddersfield versus Catalan. Ian Watson is doing a very, very good job here.
He is, he's doing a great job. My only worry is if Tuilala is not 100%. We saw a warm-up, me and Cal was watching the warm-up in Barrow. It was a 30-minute fitness test to try and get him on the field because he is that important. And as good as Barrow were, Huddersfield were nowhere near the levels they had set previously in the Super League. So if they can get Tuilala here back on the field and he's fit, then I think they can really trouble Catalans.
Castleford versus Toulouse. Toulouse obviously got that win in the Super League. They didn't play in the Betfred Challenge Cup, and that was a big win for Cass at Leeds in the Cup.
Yeah, without doubt. You know, your two sides that you've mentioned there that in the last outings have come up with big wins. So, you know, that's going to be real interesting. Lee Radford, he's bemoaned his side that they've performed but only in patches. He's yet to have a consistent 80-minute performance, and he's probably had all too often one guy in the bin or sent off, hasn't he, throughout this year. So, you know, the discipline on that side of things he'll be looking to fix up. But, you know, for them, I think he just feels that they have been building nicely, and you know, that win over Leeds in the Cup can certainly inject some impetus into what they're going to do going forward.
Hull KR versus Warrington. Look, it's very early on in the season, but this is getting a big game for Warrington, isn't it? You want to see a performance now on the back of 3 defeats.
That's it. They've got to perform, and their attack's just been nowhere near the expectations I think everyone had. Daryl Powell's known for his attack and the style he plays, and it might be structured, but the product that they play is really good to watch. But at the minute at Warrington, I'm not sure. It's a little bit lateral, and they just need to have some punch first.
I just think the group of players themselves, Kev, I just think they look frustrated, don't they? You know, I think, you know, there has to be a balance between sort of that frustration and then almost getting excited going into a game, looking forward to playing with each other. At the minute, there just seems to be that bit of a disconnect.
They don't seem to have the resilience, do they? When things go wrong, it goes wrong and it nosedives. There's no character that they show and come back from a loss. Well, you just they look vulnerable, and I think that's where Hull KR will see that, and they'll sense a little bit of blood.
So you're still in a dressing room, you've been in loads of dressing rooms, so in many respects it doesn't matter what Daryl Powell says now, it's down to the players to sort this out.
It is, it's up to the players, that they're international players, that they're the top players that have been handpicked from other clubs to represent the Warrington team. We all know the good players, and there's only so much finger pointing you can do. The coach is obviously a very good coach, but at some point they've got to come together and start performing individually and collectively.
And that's what I mean by the frustration side of things. You know, these players, and we mentioned the group of players at Leeds as well and at Warrington, they're all very good players within their own right, but yeah, it is a team sport, and when you are frustrated, if a try happens or an error happens, you almost fall into that blame culture. You know, it's his fault, but they need to realise that now they're in this together, and there's only them who can get it out. You know, get them out of this situation. So I just think that, you know, that they're going to have to really focus on how to become a team again, and what that looks like. And it's not just on the pitch at the 80 minutes that you perform. It's little things that you can rectify throughout the week and just get a bit of confidence back, because again, each and every one of those players are very, very good players.
And the Friday night game on Sky, I'm really looking forward to this. Leeds versus St Helens. And you mentioned it earlier, Kev, you fancy a Leeds win?
I fancy Leeds just on the back of everyone's wrote them off. I think Jamie Jones, I spoke to him, you know, and he was still full of energy, and you know, he's taking that challenge straight on head first. And I think Leeds going in it as underdogs, Saints go in there as this juggernaut expected to walk straight through. That's a really dangerous thing when there's so many talented players. Kyle will tell us they're not walking through them, they're not expecting to win, but subconsciously as a player, when there's another team is there for the taking and everyone expects that to happen, it can be a really dangerous thing.
Because forget obviously the Betfred Challenge Cup, we're just talking 1 win in 6 in the Super League.
Yeah, 1 win in 6, and they've been poor. They've not just been pipped in by,
they've been on Sky every week as well. It's been in front of a Sky
canvas. That's almost highlighted the fact of, and the weaknesses. So, you know, the Blake Austin thing, he came off and they put a hooker in at half-back for Blake, and you know, if Blake's under confidence, then his performances dip. So it only takes a little bit of a spark with these quality players. We know Caesar and Austin have played together before. At the minute, they don't look like the continuity's working, but I do feel it'll come. It's the same as Warrington. I feel one good win and everything could change.
Again, look, just on that, you know, what Kev said earlier, myself and the team, we have no doubt that Leeds Rhinos will be sat in their dressing room thinking this could be the game that flips it on our head, that can turn our season around, can get everything going, players playing well again, combinations going. But for us, we've just got to focus on what we do and prepare as best as we can for the best Leeds Rhinos side that I mentioned earlier. So, that's ultimately what we'll be doing, and fans all across the game, not just Leeds and Saints. I guarantee you they'll be tuning in because it'll be a fantastic game. It always is at Headingley. It's a cracking atmosphere too. So, we'll look forward to that one.
Yep, should be a cracker live on Sky on Friday night. Well, the RFL have got their new show back. It's the second episode. There's been so much talk about disciplinary this year, but Sin Bin is back.
So what if the ref comes back and says, do you know what, Steve? God, I was good last night. I was tremendous. And you think, well, hang on a minute, mate. I mean, I've had a quick look and you've got this wrong and that wrong and the other wrong and you were out of position here and there. So what happens then?
Sometimes we've got to burst the bubble.
Yeah.
And, I sometimes tell them, don't complete the lie sheet. Let's have facts. It's very hard when one of the things about reviewing anything minute by minute is you have a personal belief in what you're doing as being right, and it's hard to sometimes step back and look at things and go, I didn't manage that situation as well as I could have done, got this wrong, this has this outcome. So on the whole, the referees are very, very I'd say critical of themselves, but sometimes it's difficult. Also, they're aware of social media, they're aware of the talk around the game. It's hard to not be when you're heavily involved in it. And then they have a coach, including myself, who looks at everything as well. And then we do a review as a group, and the group talk about, for example, we start at round one that we're talking about. We looked at all those tackles in review, and we talked about did we feel we were at the right level? So the McGilvray incident that we mentioned and the Fanua incident, the referees involved and video referees were clearly told that wasn't correct, that they were the wrong decisions, but we look at why they were the wrong decisions.
That's fascinating stuff. So that's on the RFL channels tonight, the Sin Bin. Watch out, there's been so much disciplinary chat this year, so watch that and hear from some of the decision makers. Right then, it's time for Try of the Week.
Welcome to Try of the Week. I'm Ross Fiddies and here are this week's contenders. Try number one, Challenge Cup, 6th round at the DW. Wigan on the attack here with new signing Cade Cust. Nice offload in the tackle to Sam Powell, who makes up the meters. To Lulawai, who dribbles a kick through to Hardacre. Hardacre with the ball now, who beats off former teammate Burgess. And Bateman is there in support to take Wigan through to the quarterfinals. More Challenge Cup action for try number 2, and it's up to Barrow, who face Super League opponents Huddersfield. And look at this interception. It's T. Ritson again. He's a familiar face for try of the week, and surely he can't be stopped now. Senior, he's on the chase for the Giants, but it's too little, too late. Ritson, he's on fire again for Barrow. Warrington versus Wakefield for try number 3, and Trinity, they're in attack here. Nice offload from Batchelor to Miller to fullback Max Jowett, who breaks through, but Thewlis is there in defence. It's a missed tackle though, and he needs some support. Charney can't stop him either, but he loops it over, and it's out to Corey Hall on the wing. What a finish, and what a try. Over to Swinton for try number 4, and it's the opening round of Betfred League 1. The West Wales Raiders are the visitors, but it's Swinton in attack. Jack Hansen shakes off the defence to Jordan Case. It's a risky offload, but it pays off. Back to Hansen, looping pass out to Mitch Cox, who spots a gap in defence, and he looks to go all the way, but it's another offload. Mike Butt is there to collect. It's like pass the parcel now. Nice kick from Nick Gregson here, and surely this is it. Rodri Lloyd collects well, and finally Swinton cross over. Hull FC are away at Sheffield Eagles in the Cup, and look at this from hat-trick hero and player of the match Connor Wynne. He squirms his way out of a pile of defenders, breaks through the line and offloads to Adam Swift, with Jake Connor in support, who dinks it back to Swift, who looks to go over, but it's out to Vully Kidjipani, who eventually crashes over, and Hull FC ease their way through to the quarterfinals. There's a game of two halves between Hull KR and Leeds Centurions. Jacob Jones through the gap. It's sloppy defence from Rovers. Hingano now on the attack, but Mikey Lewis is on his heels. Kindhorse fudges it. Ipape now, but Mikey Lewis is there again. Offload back to Jacob Jones, who crosses over. 6 tries, but only 1 winner. Head to the R-League app now to vote for your favourite.
Only 1 winner. T. Ritson or Carla Moores at Whitehaven?
It's a joke, mine though, isn't it?
I think it's disgusting. You should go and complain to the RFL.
The T. Ritson one was how I was explained to it by Kyle about his try. That's what I was expecting to see.
Gents, really enjoyed your company, and good luck against Leeds on Friday night.
Cheers.
Live on Sky, that should be a cracker. Right, you've been watching The Last Tackle. Don't forget, we've got another live game for you on Sunday. Keighley versus Doncaster, live on this channel. Have a great week.
Rugby League from Wakefield. St Helens are the Women's Super League champions. The most amazing game for the Leeds Rhinos. Warrington dominating. Great try for the Robins. Huddersfield Giants take the points home. It's Betfred. It's a poor lad. That is one sensational try. 3 in a row for St